Check. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another New Fools podcast. We have the infamous Glarb player, Sully himself. What's up, Sully? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? How are you?
We are good. You guys are tuned in for a special episode. My favorite frog. We have a deck tech on Glarb today. And Sully has been doing so much work. And last week, another person won with Glarb. So whoever laughed at me for playing Glarb, lick my balls. I mean, I suck, but Sully's good.
Yeah.
That's why we have Sully here. Me, not me. So what's up, man? How'd you let's kind of get to know you a little bit, man. Pull the curtain back. When and why'd you get into Magic? I love asking people their sets when they came in.
So I started back in Zendikar, the Zendikar Rising. Back in 2016, 2017. Me and my buddy started playing casual. Started with the Lord Windgrace Precon. And then from then I played Gruul for the longest time, Hans Eriksson. High-powered casual, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 wins with Blightsteel Colossus, all that stuff. And then people started complaining about how powerful my deck was, and I was like, well, I'm not going to play with people that are complaining about how powerful this is, so I'll play something more powerful, then they see how they like it. Mm-hmm. So I ended up starting to play CDH in 2019, so about 1 to 2 years later, and then it just went downhill from there, basically. I started on Blue Farm because it was the meta deck, and I needed to learn the format. I needed to learn. Yeah, I know, seriously. It was the most boring deck I've ever played. I needed to learn. Basically, I wanted to play one of the meta decks because I wanted to learn what to look out for, what combo pieces are what decks are strong, and what decks perform better in tournaments than they do in casual CDH play. Because tournament play and CDH casual play is just two different worlds.
Not even the same thing. Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. For instance,
put a timer on that bitch, and they're like, "What?"
Exactly. Yeah. For instance, Glarb in both kind of kicks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In casual, Glarb just does really funny shit. In tournament play, it pops off out of nowhere, and I love it.
Yeah.
And so I went from Blue Farm, and then I went from Blue Farm to Slimefoot and Squee because I like Dockside combos, but I hated... I was big on black as being a crutch for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And then I popped over to Dargo Thras, which was like my deck for the longest time.
I love that.
Because I loved the Displacer Kitten, Dockside, Manual Storm, Thrasios combos. They just felt so good to me, taking as many actions as possible.
It's just so easy to win in that deck.
Like, and then the bans came.
Yeah. Dockside on 6, you're winning in that deck.
Dockside on 3, I'm cooking. Maybe I won't win, but I'm doing some cool shit where I'm like, I don't even care if I lost.
Right.
And then Bloomburrow spoilers came out, and I'm like looking at all the spoilers. I'm like, dude, look at this frog. I'm sitting there and I'm like, look at the bottom ability, and I'm like, Surveil 2, that's decent. And then I looked at the top ability, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's like Elsha. And then it said you can cast stuff off the top. And then I was like, all right, well, at that point, it's kind of it's kind of going from there. You know what I mean?
Oh, we're gonna get into it.
And went all in.
I think that's the best thing about Glarb is he is so underassuming, and we'll kind of get into it after We'll talk about Glarb in a second, but I was talking about this off air. So I don't know about you, but when you look at Glarb, you're like, look at this fucking meme ass deck. Like, how many decks have you seen?
Bro.
On Glarb is a meme, bro. On Glarb, it's the funniest thing. And this is one of the only meme decks I've ever seen. I know. I've been playing CDH hardcore for 3 years now. Like, every single day I've devoted to CDH, and I think this is the first actual meme deck that is insane, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that.
At first,
it's a meme deck, but it also just
at first
owns to it, dude.
Yeah, but now it's not a meme deck. This deck is a top 10 deck, like just stats. but I'm talking about when you first see it. How many times you see a new commander and you're like, I'll try this. This is cool. This is da da da. It's like what Gitrog wants to be. Right? Gitrog has the combos. It's insane, but it's not there. And Glarb is that plus, right?
So it's funny you say that because a very good friend of mine, Frankie Pens, FS Pens on Discord, he is probably one of the top 5 Gitrog players, like I would say in the US.
Yeah.
And he just kicks so much ass, and it just makes
it's good.
Like, I get
100%.
the combos, but at the same time, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
I know Backmore, and I know the discard outlet, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's good, but imagine if that had blue, right? And that's kind of what Glarb does, is like, hey, I could be a meme deck, but now it has Sultai, and it couldn't come at a better time. If this card was printed a year ago, we wouldn't be talking about it, right?
No.
But post-ban, Sultai's... Tevish Thassios is my main deck, obviously the name of the pod. I'm a huge Tevish guy all day long. Tevish, it used to be Tevish Crom. Now, Tevish Thassios is doing work. Sultai Sans Red is good now, so I feel like Glarb could be better.
I think Thassios in general is just doing so much work right now that it's one of the best card advantage engines in the game, and for only 2 mana... It's just like, it turns on Fierce Guardianship, you know, all the...
My deck is more Thassios as the combo, because I like playing Deep Glow Skate and taking everyone's commanders with Tevish. But no, I just played a tournament. I lost my win in it. I was that close. I took this guy's Madrotha, and I won with his Madrotha round 1, and he was so mad. I was like, thanks, I'll cast my Basalt Monolith from the bin.
Dude, people are playing Muldrotha in the 99 of Glarb, and I think it's a little... It's cool. I think it's a little cope. 6 mana.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely going to try, because any card that I see that's in Sultai, and I'm just like, all right.
We're going to get into that later.
We're trying this.
Sully is on some motherfucking spice, and if he wasn't the top Glarb player right now, you would laugh at his list. But I was looking at it pre-show, and I was like, God damn. But we're kind of going to... Let's go ahead and get into it. Do you think Glarb is for beginners? Do you think Glarb it can be a top 10 deck, or like keep performing?
Well, let me stop you right there. I think Glarb is a top 10 deck.
Me too.
Okay, that just might just be me, but
Me too.
So, it depends on the build, I would say, for Glarb. I think Glarb, my list, I think it's not for the faint of heart. I think if you are very familiar with CDH and have been playing for about more than a year, maybe a little less than a year, and you know combos, you know matchups, you know who you're facing, you know what cards people are going to be playing, I think my list is pretty good for you if you like control mid-range and then combo pop off out of nowhere early at turn 3. There's other lists such as my friend Shriro, who does Protein Hulk combos like Reanimator, Doomsday lines, like stuff like that. That list is also very difficult. If they want something that's more beginner friendly, more standard beginner friendly Doomsday list with just straight value, I would go into our Discord and go to the new deck lists, scroll down to beginner start here, go to AF Kaylee's. Her list is supreme for if you want to get into Glarb.
You just want to pick it up. You want to sleeve up Glarb and play tonight. That's the deck.
Try her list. Try her list. And then if you play her list and you say, I need something more, move into mine.
Yeah. Well, you have.
I'm not saying her list is bad. Their list is bad. I'm not saying my list is better. That would be my route.
Well,
after seeing all lists.
Getting into it, for me, Glarb isn't easy to pilot. You're going to see this fun, cute little frog, and no one's going to assume you're anything. Everyone's going to make a joke at you, and then you're going to start winning games. And then you start to realize when they start to target you, Sultai doesn't have a I just win. Like, you're on Doomsday and Thoracle, of course, but you have to learn to grind. And I think that's the biggest misconception is, oh, I'm just going to sleeve up and play Glarb. I'm going to have a good time. Like, no, the better you are as a player and the more you understand Glarb, I feel like the better that deck's going to perform for you. Not just blue farm, right? Like, I haven't seen one blue farm player mulligan to 6 in my life. Like, this deck, you have to know what's going on at all times.
You have to know you have to know your mulligans. You have to know what cards you're looking for. If you see one particular card in your hand, you're like, okay, I'll keep this if the next card I draw is this, or this. So if I see a culling ritual in my opening hand and I have all my mana to cast it on turn 2, turn 3, and I'm not going in 4th seat,
game's over.
I'm like, okay, if my fifth, sixth, seventh card is an outlet to Calling Ritual, I'm keeping that.
Bolas Citadel or
like
Demonic
Tutor. Like a Bolas Citadel, even a Necropotence.
Oof.
Because you still have black. Yes, you need Born Upon a Wind. Yes, you need a Flash Enabler. But it's so easy just to make that blue. It's so easy, and you have basically unlimited black and green after that. Right. Well, to a certain extent.
Right. Let me go ahead and read them real quick. I forgot. I always forget to do that. So if you've been living under a rock, Glarb Calamity's Augur is Sultai. Frog Wizard Noble Death Touch 2/4. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands and cast spells with mana value 4 or greater from the top of your library. Surveil 2. Surveil 2 is you can look at the top 2 cards and you can put them on top leave them there or graveyard, right?
Yes, you can also rearrange the order.
Yeah.
Which is very big.
Yeah. So I wanted to say that to say this. I like the Necro stuff because one of the best cards in the deck for me is Valley Floodcaller. Floodcaller says you may cast stuff as a flash non-creature spells. Then whenever you do, untap Frog, Otter, blah, 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 blah. So you just keep going with Glarb. To me, yeah, Necro and Valley Floodcaller were
Necro,
the cards.
Valley Floodcaller is Manual Storm Surveil.
Manual Storm, yeah.
That's basically along those lines.
What I like about Glarb too for me is he's one of a kind. There's not one other Magic card that is like this Commander, and it's just so goofy. So what I was saving for the podcast is I was brewing Glarb. It was like 2 weeks in, and I'm on a TTB server. They're really good for like league play. They're great, right? They're awesome. I play there all the time. This one guy I'll never forget. I'm like, I think I was on Rogside prepping for the boil, and I was like, yeah, man, I can't wait to bring Glarb to the league. He's like, oh, can't wait for easy wins. And I was like, excuse me? That's always been in the back of my mind. So then a week later I play the same guy, bro, and I won turn 3 easy with the fucking Doomsday. It wasn't even close. Doomsday, I had a swan song, I won the game. And he literally goes, did Glarb just win? So that was the name of my fucking Glarb list forever.
Did Glarb just win?
Yeah, and I was like, hey, remember 2 weeks ago? He's like, yeah, I know that. I guess that deck is kind of good. I'm like, I'm only playing it because you said that. I probably wasn't going to build it. Easy wins, bro, and that's the definition.
I might not even be on the podcast if you didn't say that. So thank you to that guy, okay?
Exactly. But I wanted to get that story out to get people. This deck isn't a meme deck. This deck isn't da da da. This deck has fucking legs, and Glarb is here to stay.
Oh, it's definitely a meme deck. Don't get me wrong.
No, for sure. I'm just saying.
Silly shit.
Yeah. When someone sees it and goes, "Oh, I can't wait to go to my LGS and play this with my buddies, casual competitive," it's like, no, you can bring this to a tournament. You just have to practice, right?
And you can win games.
That's my take. Yeah.
But another thing is, it doesn't even matter if you win, because as long as you're gaining knowledge and you're learning through people's combos and how they win and how they maneuver through politics, card selection, mulligans, all that's turn order. Like, yeah, I have a great win rate in tournament play, but if I lose, I'm like, oh, okay, how did I lose? You want to let me know, like, how your deck works, your combos? Are you playing anything that's not normal for a regular, let's say, Timna Thras list?
Yeah.
Oh, you're on so-and-so? Okay, why? That's basically how I go about when I lose in a tournament game, basically.
Right, yeah.
99% of the time.
Right, and again, you said your win rate the last few weeks is 65%.
Yeah,
that's
so
insane.
In tournament games, I've been kind of kicking. It would have been higher, but at the latest AK that I was in, I did do absolutely terrible due to turn orders and bad mulligans. Listen, I'm not a perfect player, but in the past 3 tournaments that I've played, my win rate is up 65%, give or take.
And as
a couple of percentage.
Yeah, as a recording.
Obviously, it's me keeping it's me keeping track of it on my phone.
Yeah.
Through Top Deck and all that stuff. So it might not exactly be 65%, but it's definitely more than 60.
But the numbers are there, right? And
yeah.
As we're recording, Ian just posted, he's one of the best CDH player. He just did a tournament breakdown, and there's 2 Glarbs out of 9 Glarbs in the whole tournament. I think there's like 120 people or 110 people in the tournament.
Yeah.
There's 8 or 9 Glarbs. 2 have made top 16. 1 won the whole thing.
One just straight up won. And the kid that won and a kid that was in 3rd place ended up having the same last name, which is pretty ironic, actually.
Oh, okay. All right. Cousin?
No, I said, his name's Logan, and I was like, dude, is that like your brother or something? He's like, no, we just ended up having the same name. And I'm like, that is a small world, bro. In top 4, in a 250 whatever person tournament, they have the same last name.
Yeah. Yeah. So pushing forward, so what's kind of the strengths and the weaknesses of the deck? Like, what would you tell me if I was sleeving it up right away, if I was taking to tournaments? What's kind of the gist of Glarb before we get into the
So that's a great question. I think the gist of Glarb under my list is a very mid-range control list that takes advantage of knowing knowledge of other people's decks, knowing what other people want to pull out, knowing what other people are going to win with, and then taking advantage of that. If I can politic my way into Glarb not being removed, like I was saying before, pre-podcast, about not killing Glarb and killing another commander creature. Oh, my Glarb just lets me look at the top card of my deck and surveil for 2. It doesn't even have, it has summoning sickness. You don't need to kill it. I think Glarb is so unassuming that you can just kind of fly under the radar until you're ready to go balls deep. That's basically, I would say, a weakness. I'm kind of biased because I think Glarb is the best card ever printed, but
no, there's weaknesses. There's not actual card advantage.
There is weaknesses. I would say it's not actual card advantage other than the fact that you can look at the top card of your library. So you're not playing with 7 cards in your hand, you're playing with 8. That's how I look at it.
Okay.
It loses to Endurance pretty easily. Endurance is the one card where I'm just like, if they have an Endurance, I'm kind of screwed. So when I go for piles and Doomsday and such like that, I'm kind of always keeping something that says counter target spell, counter target creature, counter target permanent, just so I don't have to deal with the thought of getting Enduranced for 45 cards and having to restart them.
Yeah, well, that's such a fringe card, though. Like, I think maybe Ken and Lister are on it, maybe.
A lot of people in our Glarb Discord they also think it's a fringe card, but in Massachusetts, where I'm from, I play through Taunton, King's Court, with Steve Baker, the owner. Great owner. If you guys are ever in Mass, slide over to the King's Court. Great place to be. Great games, great people. Everyone and their mother in green is on Endurance. Don't know why. I mean, maybe it's because we're playing with a Gitrog, Timna, Thras, just like graveyard baloney. Everyone's running Endurance.
Yeah, Hazel, Brewmaster Lines.
Everyone, brother. Everyone. So, listen, it's funny because at the AK that I was in, that I did absolutely terrible in, 1-4, and then I dropped second day 2. No one had Endurance in their deck lists, and I prepared for everyone having Endurance in their deck list.
Yeah,
So I was just like I don't know, I don't even know what I was supposed to do. Like,
it's kind of like a meta call. Yeah,
I'm not The Simpsons. I can't tell the future, man. Like,
right. I think if you're traveling like far away, but like meta.
I think it's region meta.
Yeah. If you're going to California or Florida, don't worry about it. But Northeast,
It's funny that you say that because I did yesterday for the first time play with a Japanese player that lives in Japan that has family in Massachusetts. He came to the King's Court because through other podcasters that were talking about that store, heard that it was a great store. So he came through, and of course, me as a tournament grinder, I'm asking this guy too many questions. And thankfully, the dude was great. He answered all of them. So in Japan, no 5-color piles and no politics. They do not politic. They do not talk. The only time they talk is when someone is going for a win or plays a heavy loaded spell such as Doomsday, Adnaz, or Rogsai turn 1 baloney. I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying my best not to swear. It's me. I'm trying.
Oh, okay. It's for your inner. Okay.
Oh, it's
because I swear, fucking Christ,
dude, it's too much. But yeah, so it made, and I said, "Is there anything that I did that was different?" He said, "First off, you're playing Glarb," and I'm like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Don't get me wrong. I need to continue this statement. I wanted to say thank you because you showed me Glarb. Glarb won out of nowhere." And I had no idea what this deck was going to do. I looked at your deck list beforehand and I thought you were not even serious.
Right.
And then I won. Turn 4 with someone else's Wheel of Fortune and a Jace on the stack. It was just not on the field and a Wheel of Fortune on the stack.
I got you.
Yeah, a Wheel of Fortune.
How'd you steal? Okay, anyways.
Trader's Graph, baby.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. I love that card.
Jace out, next card you would draw wins you the game. Someone enduranced me, and I had 7 cards left in my library. Cast a Wheel of Fortune at instant speed.
I was gonna ask why you're on Jace, but that sounds pretty good.
That is one of the reasons.
Found the reason. That's cool.
Valid as hell. But yeah, I learned so much from this Japanese player, and we connected on Discord, and we're planning to play more games online. So I'm super excited for that.
Dude, that's so cool. I play with people all over the place. I play with the California people, and they respect our Roxai. Like, guys, we can't let Roxai hit his land drops. And I was like, yeah. Roxai's fine. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I can't remember last time Roxai beat me, right? But they're like, no. Oh, God, Michael Myers is going to get us. We can't let him get a soul ring. With him misstep the soul ring. And I was like...
So what do you think the Japanese player I was saying was playing? Roxai.
Yeah, their meta is crazy.
Insane.
With deck I want to build, that the meta over there, they're on Rog Tevish, but like the stacks version.
Yeah, I have a player named Matt Luz. Love that guy, great guy. He plays that not stacks version, but he plays it with chaotic transformation. The only creature in his deck is Rog.
Yeah.
So he chaotic transformations it and then gets Razakath.
Yeah.
And then just wins the game.
Yeah, I played the turbo version of that deck. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I want to build every Tevish deck for sure.
Well, if you ever come out to Massachusetts, I'm sure both of us will give you the hands, okay? So
I will never
come on out to Mass.
I would never be that way. But I would love to see like a future 10, 20, 100K. Like I was talking to Hire, he's throwing a big, I think 10, 12K in California. And we're talking about in 5-10 years, like they're gonna easily be 100K.
Oh.
Or 50K? Like, easily.
Dude, no, 100K. Are you kidding? Like,
well, that gets a little crazy, right? But, like, because you have to think, to get a 50K, you'd probably need 100K, right? For the
okay, but people have gotten a 1K posting something 2 hours before the tournament. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. But we were talking about the future, and it's like 5 years ago, you wouldn't have thought of a 10K. Right, and now
well, 5 years ago, you wouldn't even know what CDH is. You think it'd be high powered, like top.
Yeah, you're right. Before COVID, before COVID, the CDH was spell table, right?
Yeah, which I actually need to get back into. I currently am in a cardboard box right now. I don't have a PC because my PC shit the bed.
He's homeless. It's okay. We do not judge here.
I'm in the refrigerator box. It's okay.
He's in the fridge.
Yeah.
He's like one of these.
Is it cold in here?
You're in one of those deep freezers that I can't think of their names. Oh man,
this dude's geeking over here. That's crazy.
The serial killers. I couldn't think of it. Like Dexter.
Oh my god! The walk-in freezers. Is that what
you have all the dead bodies around you.
They're all
couldn't get it out.
Like dead pigs' bodies and shit.
I'm like, is that a hand? No, man, that's just Glarb.
That's not his. That's not his hand.
No, I'll edit, so you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about what you look like.
Oh yeah, no worries.
But I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. We're gonna throw Glarb on the screen here. Glarb. All right, can you see my screen?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I can see it. Oh, it's so weird looking at my list, but like not through my screen. It's so weird.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Can I enlarge this so I can make it bigger?
Sure. How do I do it?
I have no clue. I'm just gonna zoom in on my iPad. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm sure you don't need to see your list. I'm sure you.
I basically are. You just have to read the. You just have to say the card, and I already know it.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say his name.
Oh.
Because I don't agree with that M word. But I do like. What's his name? Luffy.
Yeah, Luffy. Yeah.
My brother's big into Usopp.
Oh yeah, dude. One Piece. Let's go.
Ugh. Get out of here.
Dude, come on. I've been watching it since I was like 12 every Sunday. Every Sunday.
And they're still making episodes.
And they're still making yeah, and I love it.
Yeah, so like Sully said, this list is for the faint of heart. Like, I don't think a beginner should take this list. But that being said, let's get into it.
Let's go.
So when you're playing this deck, we'll kind of go through and then we'll do individual choices. When you're playing this deck, what do you want your mulligans to look like? What are you looking for in the early game?
The early game, I like early game advantage, such as we have a Sylvan Library, obviously, Mystic Remora, an early Rhystic Study, such as that. We have early mana, such as Chromox, Lotus Petal, Mox Diamond, you know, the general.
That's what everybody deck wants, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then I also like a little bit of free interaction, but free interaction that Glarb can take advantage of, such as Stuff Out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, over here next to the Mindbreak Trap. Yeah. I think I need something that's target removal. That's what, like, if I had, like, the best 7 without trying to win as fast as possible, I need some type of control piece. I'm also a big fan of the Worldly Tutor to get an early either Kitsa and or Valley Floodcaller to start the grinding situation. It really depends on the pod I'm in and what seat I'm in. If I'm going turn 1 to turn 2, I just want something as big and explosive as possible. If I'm going turn 3, turn 4, I kind of do like the playing dead like a possum type play style.
Okay, so you're like kind of chilling.
I'm chilling in the beginning. I'm chilling.
Birds,
in the beginning,
your
I'm chilling.
Delighted Halfling. Are you trying to cast Glarb as soon as you can, or is that just a?
Lately, in the beginning, when I first started tournament grinding, and I started to realize how much success I've been having with him, I wanted to turbo him out as fast as possible, kind of like how you do with Kinnan, how you just kind of just want to throw everything balls to the wall. But lately, within the past month, I would say, I've kind of been holding back on playing Glarb and just seeing how much value I can get solely through my card selection. That's basically what I've been doing so far. I like playing Glarb in the best case scenario, turn 3, turn 4. I've played him as late as turn 5 or turn 6 before as well, when it gets to that. Because my list is basically trying to push the game out as long as possible.
Okay.
Because in those games, I win. If it gets to turn 6, turn 7, and I have mana, like mana, I'm basically winning that game unless a Kinnan player is either going first or they have more mana than me.
I got you. Yeah, this deck definitely has a bunch of mana. I think it's hilarious you're on Endurance.
Yeah, dude. Listen.
Oh, that's so funny.
Endurance can save me as well.
I was going to say, if someone blows you out or something.
If someone blows me out, I'm screwed. So before I had Shieldred the Apocalypse, which I'll get to after I say this, I had Talion in the list, and when I went for a Doomsday line, people would be like, "Okay, how many one cost cards can we cast in response to him playing Thassa's Oracle?" So he just draws himself to death, and I've died to it multiple times. So I'm kind of trying to take a break from that. But Shieldred in this deck lately has been a machine. It has been a absolute machine. We are in a Rhystic Study draw cards meta, and this card just punishes it on top of the fact that it's gaining me life when I'm drawing cards. Obviously, I'm trying to take advantage of the draw card engine meta as well, but me gaining life through it, and then me being able to put it out into a Bolas, a Citadel, or a Necropotent situation just makes it gross. Realistically, I'm drawing 20 to 30 cards on Necropotents in the best case scenario. With Shieldred, I could draw 39 and not be worried about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you think she does enough damage, or do you think she's really good reactive?
So, in a perfect world, a perfect utopia, I feel like that Shieldred should do a little bit more damage, but that's just because me. Like I said, I have about 3 or 4 cards in this list that are slots. So 1 is Shieldred, 2 is Seedborn Muse, and 3 is endurance as creatures as they are right now. I did edit this list within probably 8 hours ago.
I love Seaborn Muse in this deck. It's so good.
So I like Seaborn Muse as well, especially because I am on the Pizza package as well as Fairy Mastermind package. With the mana, drawing cards. I was on Notion Thief with that package as well, but I decided to take it out because it just dies to Orcish Bowmasters, and I'm not dealing with that. I think it's a dead card generally.
Okay, it's in my Hashaton list, and it hasn't done in my Tevashasios list. Yeah, it does so much work.
It really depends on the situation.
Maybe in this list,
a lot of times it's just sitting in my hand and I'm pitching it to Force of Will, or I'm pitching it to a Chrome Mox.
I got you. Yeah, for sure. So let's kind of go over. I want to go over the combos and Glarb a little bit, the outlets. So obviously we're on Thassa's Oracle, right? It's the best.
Obviously, yep. Demonic Consultation, Tainted Pacts.
Yep, that's the easy stuff. So I kind of want to get into. Let's just do it now. The Doomsday piles. What's the cleanest and easiest Doomsday pile for this deck?
Okay, so the cleanest and easiest Doomsday pile for me would probably have to be, obviously, have Glarb with the ability to be tapped just in case. And I would go Gush. And then I would go into either 2 counter spells or a Thassa's Oracle and some type of Cavernous Souls effect. And then the last card can either be a counter spell, something that you can cast off the top with Glarb, for free,
like a trap,
exactly. The top 2 cards would be Mindbreak, Trap, or Force of Will.
Okay.
That's Force of Will, obviously, if you have a blue card. Snuff out if there's a problem. So if there's a Drannith Magistrate, if there's something that's really hindering you from winning the game that is a creature-based card, or creature-based card, it would be a removal spell. But that's like the main line. The line that I think is the spiciest of all the spice would probably have to play, if you want to scroll down all the way down to the lands tab, we have a land called Lazotep Quarry. It is right there. If you want to zoom in on that, this card is a sleeper. An absolute sleeper.
X2 tap, sack a desert to sack itself. Exile target creature with mana value X from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy, except it's a 4/4 zombie. Oh.
So what I like to do is I like to put Glarb in my... I like to put Thassa's in my Doomsday pile. Tap Glarb and put Thassa's Oracle in my... And act like I made a mistake.
In your bin.
Act like I made a mistake. And they're like, oh, you clearly have a Reanimate in your hand. You clearly have a Reanimate in your pile. And then they say, okay, I pass priority. And I say, okay, I'm going to activate the ability of a land, my Lazotep Quarry, to put a Thassa's Oracle onto the stack.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, crap. How do we interact with this?
You don't.
A Stifle, a Trick Bind, or an Endurance.
Yeah.
Only way to stop that. Something that, obviously.
Yeah, good.
It's like a delay effect, obviously.
Yeah. I kind of did the same thing. I didn't need to cast any spells. I just needed to cast the Oracle, right? Because I knew I didn't have any creatures. So what I did in my Tevashasios over the tournament, what I did was I cast Thrasios for my devotion because I had Consult in hand, right? So I Tainted Pact for Thoracle. So Thoracle was... Yeah, but no. I had a Tainted Pact for the Thoracle to put in my hand to cast it because I had Consult in my hand. Well, what happened was I exiled all my library except like 5 cards. So I was like, fuck. So then what I did is I did that instep. So I cast Thrasios for my devotion. My devotion was 4 or 5 because I had Narset out. So I just cast Thoracle and I was going to win right there, right? I had Consult in my hand just in case.
Did someone kill a blue permanent and then remove your devotion?
No, they fucking... I had interaction. They fucking showed me a goddamn phase out land, Talon Gates.
Talon Gates.
And I was like, that's the only card that could have fucked me because I could have countered a spell if you try to remove it, countered anything. I had this, and they just flash in a fucking Talon Gates.
They flash in a Talon Gates from their hand. Yep. I've lost that before too.
Man, that's so bad. But anyways, so other than Gush, because I've noticed in the game I played, like, Gush throughout the game is just good. Just draw 2 cards. Is there any other clean Doomsday pile if Gush is gone? like in the bin or something?
So I try to avoid, like, back to the opening hand situations. I try to avoid having Gush in my opening hand. I try to avoid having Gush in my hand in general, because I just don't like the fact of it being potentially exiled to Force of Negation and then being exiled and I can't win the easier way. Realistically, if I don't have Gush, I do just go for the Lazatep line, or I just go for like a Reanimate line and then just try to go for the Thassa's Oracle win. I don't really like winning with Thassa's Oracle because I feel like it's cheesy, but most of the time it's just how I win.
Well, in tournaments, right?
Yeah, in tournament play. In non-tournament plays, I'll have a Kitsa. I'll do a Kitsa line where I make infinite mana and infinite untaps of Kitsa, make a copy of Kitsa, have those infinite untaps, and then Praetor's Grasp someone for their LED and Underworld Breach, and then cast Mnemonic Betrayal so I keep getting their LED back. That's what I like. That's like the spiciest of the lines, but that's only happened like a handful of times.
Yeah, well, that was the next thing. So Glarb isn't an outlet, but it is an outlet, right? So
it is an outlet, yes.
But what I'm saying is, it's not like a Thrasios Straw your deck.
Oh,
right?
no. So it is I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so I kind of want to get into it and let people know.
Sure.
So on my list, I'm on Hullbreaker, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is, I was on Tyvar, so he obviously needed to be on tap. So then you can survey a whole deck, get a Hullbreaker or whatever, and then just play it where you play all the big 4 mana spells until you get a win, right?
Yeah.
But with so kind of explain to us kind of the Glarb outlet lines, like the Kitsa Dramatic Reversal. Are you on Dramatic Reversal?
So Kitsa, I'm on Dramatic Reversal. Yeah. So the Kitsa Dramatic Reversal, or we also have the Valley Floodcaller Retraction Helix. I think I might actually be
Banishing Knack.
I'm on the other one, Banishing Knack, just because I don't have a Retraction Helix, and I have an Artist Proof one, which is fucking awesome.
Cool.
So basically what I do is I will present the line of infinite mana and infinite taps and untaps of non-land permanents with either Kitsa or Floodcaller, thank you. And I will surveil my deck with infinite mana until I have a Finale of Devastation on the top of my deck. I could either do it so I can cast Finale X equals 2 off the top because its CMC is 4 to get a Thassa's Oracle, and then in response surveil the rest of my deck to my graveyard. Or if I have enough creatures, I can just cast Finale of Devastation X equals 420,069. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. And win the game that way. I haven't won the game that way with combat damage as far as I remember, but I have done the line with Thassa's Oracle because someone had protection from the One Ring.
Okay, I got you. So you're infinitely surveilling, right? So what about
you're infinitely surveilling, and then you can either just, if you have a way to draw a card, you can also just infinitely surveil until you get Yogg's Will and then do it that way.
Okay, Yogg's Will is one of the spicier cards you don't really see played, but I see how Yogg's Will could just be I fucked up, or I did this, or let me get my gush back, or whatever. So
early in the game, if I have a Glarb out, let's say turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and I just start surveilling cards in my graveyard, I don't care what I surveil as long as it's not something that helps me right then and there. I'll just throw it in the bin. Don't care about it. And then late game, I cast a Yogg's Will with protection. It's just a done deal.
Yeah, game's over.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I do say this to friends: the best way to stop Yogg's Will is first look through my graveyard, see if I have free interaction in my graveyard, which most of the time I do. Do not counter the Yogg's Will and just counter the win. What I like to tell a lot of players that have been asking me about my deck list is, when you're wondering when to react or when to interact with someone, you just ask yourself the question: do you lose here? Are you losing on the spot? Are you losing to this card no matter what right now? Do I need to do something right now?
like a Breach. Like, Breach isn't the win con, but it is the win con. Like, you have to stop Breach.
Breach is
resolves
something,
or lose. Yeah.
Breach is something that if LED is not on the battlefield and it's in their hand, if Breach is not in the if Breach is not I keep stuttering, I'm sorry.
You're good.
If LED is not in their hand or their graveyard and it's on the battlefield, you counter the LED. You do not counter the Underworld Breach. They do not have infinite mana or near infinite mana when they have the LED. If you get it exiled through a Force of Negation or something like that.
I love Force of Negging the LED.
Because then they can't do anything. Or even you force negging their first cast of Brain Freeze, or the original cast of Brain Freeze. Underworld Breach is a problem card. Yes. Do you just straight lose? Not necessarily. You need to know your lines, or you need to know their lines.
Correct. Yeah.
You need to always be aware of what someone has in their graveyard. If they have a Demonic Tutor and Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, blah, 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 yes, that's dangerous because they don't need LED. They just keep recasting Dark Ritual, and then they get the Lotus Petal, and then they... I'm assuming people that are listening kind of understand that situation, so I'm not going to go too deep into that.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yep, for sure. So I want to get into Tidespout. So why Tidespout over Hullbreaker? Okay. That's my first question.
That is Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. So Tidespout over Hullbreaker. I think you're crazy, but it does say permanent. So, and then also, is he just in the deck because this is a spicier? I was on Hullbreaker, but is he just like your backup win line? Like if you
Tidespout is definitely a backup win line. Tidespout, infinite mana, flickering with rocks, obviously, is just straight a win. And then
Bowmaster, Fairy Mastermind.
But the problem is you have to find a way to copy Tidespout because it doesn't work like that. Because you have to make infinite mana, and then you start casting a Mana Rock and then an Orcish Bowmasters. To flick the Orcish Bowmasters, you need something else, such as another Tidespout, just to start.
And that's what I was going to talk about is with Glarb, he doesn't have haste, right? So that doesn't work.
He does not.
You can't recast him and tap him. So
then it doesn't matter, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So how do you...
So basically, I just use this card as you need to remove this card or they think they're just going to lose. That's how I've been playing it for the past couple of weeks. I've won tournament games with Tidespout, with infinite mana, and then I just start bouncing everyone's permanents, including their lands. And then I just go, okay, you guys play from turn 0, and I'm on turn 9 with a board that can't be stopped. And then they're just like, okay, I concede. GG's.
Is that why it's Tidespout over Hullbreakers? Hullbreaker doesn't bounce permanents.
Hullbreaker does not bounce permanents. Yes, it can't be countered, but I kind of want my Tidespout to be countered. Honestly, if they remove a piece of interaction and I'm not trying to win then and there and I just play it to play it, I'll be like, sick. That's one less counter spell, one less kill spell Glarb has to deal with.
Okay, that's an interesting take. Okay.
Same thing with Consecrated
Sphinx. Yeah.
Consecrated Sphinx needs to be removed.
That's
if
a
it is
kill
not
on
removed,
card.
If it is not removed, you just gain so much value. If there's not an Orcish Bowmasters or a type of Narset effect, you just win.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Seaborn Muse, Con Sphinx, and Tidespout are kill on sight. Like, they come on, you
relatively, they're not that great alone.
Right.
Besides, obviously, Consecrated Sphinx. But, yeah. And Seedborn Muse, I use as a politic piece. Seedborn Muse, I say, don't counter my seed. Let's say I finale for 5. Go for... They're like, oh, he's obviously grabbing a Seedborn Muse. And I go, you're right. I am grabbing a Seedborn Muse. And then I show them 2 pieces of interaction from my hand and say, I need this mana. I don't have currently I used too much of my mana on my turn, not including the finale for 5, because that would just be a stupid statement, to be able to interact with the next person in turn order. I need to be able to stop them from winning. So let me have this Seedborn Muse for their turn and then remove it.
Yeah, Seaborn Muse is really good at policing for sure, but
it's
hard not to remove that bitch.
It isn't. It's great. And I also have like the beautiful original foil that I got for dirt cheap from my buddy. So it's just like I have to play it.
Yeah. That's so sick.
Over the years, I've spent a little bit too much money on Magic, whether it be from tournament play, tournament winnings. Let's just like blur out how much that deck costs, and then we can continue.
No. You believe in proxies. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I do believe in proxies, 110%. But, like, that alpha demonic tutor that you just hovered over, yeah, my heart hurts a little bit.
Yeah. So, anyways, we could talk about this all day long. But let's go ahead and let's get into the... Oh, this is cool. Let's get into the kind of the spicier card. So you like Jace.
Okay,
is that because it's 4 mana, instant speed, if you have a high rate trickster and just win right there?
So, yeah, 4 mana, instant speed, that's just super great. Obviously, casting off top with Glarb. That passively, I don't know if you can see because it's in Japanese, but it basically says the next time you would draw a card, if you have no cards in your library, you just straight win the game. It's a passive ability. There's no way to stop that unless you have like a trick bind effect or something like that.
Bounce it.
or bounce it. Typically, it's bouncy it, and then the +1 is either milling. It's milling a target player, and then you're drawing a card. So it also helps with a Doomsday package. You can put Jace in your Doomsday package, or a Doomsday package to just win you the game.
Yeah.
Have I ever ulted Jace? I did it once, and it killed me. So I don't really do that anymore.
+1's target player mills 2 cards, draw a card. -8 is draw 7 cards if there's no library, has no cards in it, you win the game. But his static ability is if you would draw a card where library has no cards in it, you win the game. Also, what I like with Jace in this deck is if you do have infinite mana, which you have a bunch of ways to get infinite mana, you just surveil your bin and then boom, I'll get Jace, win the game, right?
Win the game.
Just keep going.
Yep.
So it's kind of
a graveyard, blah 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 blah. Wait for Jace to be on the top of your deck, cast it in response.
Surveil. Yep.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So I kind of like Jace. I think I'm going to try that in my list. Molt Tender. What the fuck is this card?
Ooh, so that's the new card from the new Aether Drift. So I actually just slotted that in about a week ago. I bought 8 Molt Tenders because I think the card is sick. I think it's a worse Deathrite Shaman, but it is great for cards that want to put stuff in your graveyard. That's basically where I'm at right now with it. Turn 1, if you play Molt Tender with a fetch land, turn 2, it's a mana dork. It's a great card. Surveilling dead cards into your bin, such as lands or other cards that you don't really care about, such as, let's say, stupid stuff that you don't really care about in your graveyard in general. You can mill it for mana. Currently, that is a slot pick for the mana dorks. That got slotted out for Elves of Deep Shadow. I just wanted to try it because I always try 2 to 3 cards from the new set just to try them.
Let me know if it were. I think this might be a better Deathrite because normally Deathrite, the other abilities are irrelevant. And then this isn't land. This is exile a card from your graveyard.
Card, yes. From your library, yes. It is good. I do like the Seedborn Deathrite Shaman combo if you're really not working with anything, if you're low on life, gaining life. But Molt Tender is pretty good. It is also extremely good in Gitrog lists. Extremely good, mind you. Because it gives you another draw trigger.
Okay. Yeah, Millicart, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep my eye out for this.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely shoot up on the stocks, to say the least.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look at it for sure. So we're on the traditional stuff. I think Calling Ritual is probably a top 5, top 10 card right now in CDH.
Yeah, I would even say it's top 3. I think that
that's debatable.
Dude, in black-green, any deck that runs black-green is running Calling Ritual. And if they just cast it, they pretty much just win the game. That's in my opinion, at least.
I agree with you, but you still got the Orcushes and the Ristics and the Mystics that I think
that's fair.
Just warp games with Calling. It could be a board wipe. You could have a win because it's not.
But you know what removes everything but Ristic Buddy? A Calling Ritual.
No, I agree. It's a 4-mana sorcery though. That's kind of the downfall. But I'm definitely with you, though. Like, I was casting Calling Rituals. I was like, yeah, I'll kill all my thralls. I don't care. Like, what are you going to do with all that mana? Nothing. I'm going to pass turn and just watch you guys cry.
You're in the state.
And I'm going to activate my Thrassios. I'm going to recast my Thrasios. I'm going to spin Thrasios a couple times, pass turn, and watch you guys do nothing while my Sultai deck just runs.
I'll play a land. I will pass. Exactly.
Yeah. It's definitely, I'll give you top 5 for sure. Like, it's hard to argue top 5, but 4-mana sorcery.
Talk to me in 3 months, and then we'll see where it's at.
But no, it went from a good card to a top 5 card. Like, post-ban
100%.
All day long. Like, no one can argue that. Like, that's the crazy part. So you're on Praetor's Grass. I love Praetor's Grass. Yogsville, we talked about it earlier. I really like Yogsville in a deck like this because it's one of those, like you said, it's your Underworld Breach. Or you don't have to win. You could just be like,
it's a backup.
Yeah.
You can, like you said, you don't even have to win. I'm just going to cast this Yogsville. I'm going to recast my Lotus Petal. I'm going to recast a Dark Ritual. I'm going to get my Orcish Bowmasters back. I'm going to get any of my creatures back. I'll even cast my Shieldred again. I'll cast a, Opposition Agent, even if it doesn't really matter right now. Just stuff to put onto the board. Make game action.
And two, I feel like sorcery stocks have come up because it is a flash meta. Look, you're on Floodcaller, High Fate Trickster. I'm sure you're on Born Upon a Wind.
Oh, of course.
This is a good Necro deck. Like, you could easily in-step, do a Yogsville, get some rocks, untap, and try to win the game. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
think Yogsville stocks definitely come up, especially a graveyard deck. And I think graveyard decks, for me personally, have risen since the ban.
I agree. I entirely agree with that statement.
So, and we're on Beseech. This is just a really good tutor
Yeah.
in this deck. We talked about Banishing Knack. We got I love Floodmaw. I think Floodmaw's a staple
I think
now.
Floodmaw's, notably, I'm not on Cyclonic Rift.
I've been doing that too. I've been replacing Cyber for this deck.
I don't know how I feel about Cyclonic Rift right now. The last time I played it was in Dark Thras when this card got printed. This was another one of the cards that I tested in Bloomburrow with Glarb. This card is just good. It's just good. And giving someone a 1/1 is not even that bad. Like, yes, it has the Forbidden Orchard effect, but sometimes the 1/1 matters.
Yeah, and you can pick though. It's not the person you're removing it.
Yeah, you can give it to the shitter player that doesn't.
I don't think it's better than Cyclonic Rift, but I definitely think right now in this meta, like, this is really good. I think big mana decks definitely keep Rift in it. But you can't 1 mana bounce spell at this rate. There's no downside.
It's a better Chain of Vapor.
100%. I love this card all day.
Like, Chain of Vapor is good if you're doing the Kinnan thing where you're just like tapping your mana, bouncing it, replaying it, bouncing it, stuff like that.
Yeah, Noxious Revival is really good in this deck.
Oh, Noxious Revival is so good in that deck.
I love it.
Double cast Deadly Relic.
Baby, yes.
That card is sick. Oh, there's 2 permanents. You can only get rid of 1. Ha! Get fucked.
Got him. LQR, how has that been tested?
All right. This is the card I was waiting to talk about. Okay. LQR. This card says kill any creature that doesn't have Indestructible when you have Glarb out.
Okay.
This card.
Oh, yeah, he has Death Touch.
Death Touch.
Yes.
Everyone forgets about that. This card is top 3 best cards in this deck. It protects any of your problem pieces and kills any problem piece.
Yeah,
it can kill your creatures too if said need.
Yeah, let me read it for the audio listeners. It's 1 green mana, Legacy Quick Reflexes, split second, untap target creature. Until in a turn, it gains hexproof, reach, and whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals damage to its power up to 1 target creature. So he's right. When Glarb, when he has Death Touch, so if he were to hit somebody, they would see the Death Touch and they would die.
Yes. Also, if it's on someone else's turn, you cast the LQR. After LQR resolves, obviously it has to resolve because it has split second. You tap Glarb to surveil 2. You're tapping Glarb per LQR, so you're dealing 2 damage Death Touch to someone or someone's creature.
To anything.
Anything. Yes.
Well, and also it protects Glarb because it's hexproof.
Exactly. And it also triggers Valley Floodcaller.
Yeah. It's a 1 mana protect my commander, split second. Also, it kills anything I want it to kill. Yeah,
so I think
insane.
I would consider it like a command card, like Cogless Command. You can do multiple things with this card. And you don't even have to choose the options. You just get them all.
Why is this card 1 mana?
I don't know. They made it. No, I don't even think the problem is the 1 mana part. I think the problem is the split second part.
Yeah.
Any card that has split second on it has to be broken.
What's funny too is you could if you don't have Glarb out, you could just hit one of your mana dorks. It's free, or hit someone else's creature, have them tapped and hit something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. Or in response to damage, you tap Glarb and kill something else.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I feel like LQR is one of those cards that it's insane in the right deck. Like when this first got printed, people put in every green deck. I think it has to be the right deck, and this is the perfect deck for this card.
So I think Selvala. Selvala, extremely good in
mono green stuff,
Morrowind, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're on. So we're on Counterbalance, right? Yeah. So what I noticed with some good Glarb lists is you're not on every counter spells. 1, 2, 3.
I'm basically on 4, the generic ones.
5, 6, 7, maybe 8. Yeah, so a lot of people are 8 to 10, but in this deck you can be on 8 because you're on Counterbalance is so good in this deck.
Counterbalance is extremely good in this deck. I actually had a question about this from one of my Discord members yesterday. Am I tutoring for Counterbalance? No, I don't need to tutor for Counterbalance. No. If I get it, I'm sick. That's the one card in my deck where I'm nice. This is I can't cast it off the top with Glarb, but next turn when I cast this, we're in a good spot. And it counters a lot of things.
And it's like the slower, right? This is a slower game plan. You're okay. Like, no, we're tutoring for Necro and winning. We're not tutoring for counterbalance. But it's like,
exactly.
I have a turn 2 counterbalance, turn 3 Glarb.
Enchantments and artifacts are kind of hard to tutor for in this deck. I know me saying that as a black player. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Imperial Seal for a card like that. I'm going to do that for a win. I'm going to look for a counter. I'm going to look for a win.
Mana. Yeah.
Something along those lines. Something that just gets me so far ahead where there's like, okay, this guy's a problem. We need to figure out how to deal with it, because if we don't, we just lose.
So let's talk about it. 2 more cards I want to talk about.
Sure.
Bolas Citadel. I don't see this card in Glarb list that much. Is this just insane? Is this?
This card's good. I am considering cutting it. It does kill me a lot because I'm just a player who just goes balls to the wall. I don't care if I'm at 5 life. We're just going to keep going. I'm going to cast that 1 mana dork and go to 4. I don't really care. I'm just going to keep going and see what happens. I've won multiple times with this card, though. With the top card of my deck with the Bolas Citadel out is a High Fate Trickster. And then I just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going until I get a Thassa's Oracle. And then with that Thassa's Oracle ETB on the stack, I keep sifting my library and casting off the top until I find a Demonic Consultation, Tainted Pact, or something to put it to the top, such as a Mystical Tutor, Imperial Seal, Vampiric Tutor.
Yeah, I feel like if this sticks with the Floodcaller or High Fate Trickster, you're probably winning the game.
Oh, yeah, you're 100% winning the game, especially if you also have something that gains you life, such as Shieldred or the Deathrite Shaman, blah, 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 untap, tap, tap, untap, gain so much life. If you're at like 60 life, which doesn't happen a lot, but with Shieldred, it can happen, you just win.
Yeah, I was going to say. The only issue with Bolas Citadel is, like, Exploration's really good in this deck, right? This deck can run 28, 29, 30 lands if they want to. So that's why people are kind of off of Bolas Citadel, and you can't cheat it in. But I feel like you said,
there is a correction. I might have to correct you on that one. There is one way to cheat in a Bolas Citadel in this deck. Shifting Woodlands.
Oh, I didn't even know that was in the list.
Which is a land.
Yep. Okay, my bad.
No, you're good.
4 mana. Okay. All right.
4 mana Bolas Citadel is pretty freaking good, man.
After surveilling it, and okay, I didn't get to the land yet. I got you. So, also, what do you think about cards like Adnos? Because Glarb can look at the top. So, looking at the top card of your library, you can do anytime. That's not a game action.
So, I've seen some players that have recently joined the Discord that have been on Adnos. I'm not a fan of it because I like casting cards that aren't usually casted in CDH, such as the 4 CMC spells where you're just like, holy crap, why are you running Shieldred? I feel like running Adnos would kind of defeat the purpose of Glarb. You're casting cards off the top with 4 CMC, meaning or greater. So you're going to want to cast those spells that actually matter. You can run Adnos. It definitely does things in response. You can tap Glarb and get 2 more, blah, blah, blah. I get that. Yeah. I just don't see no appeal in it. Like I said, my first deck that I played was Blue Farm, and I think I've casted Adnos quite too many times for me to.
I just feel like with this deck, it breaks parity on the bad cards, like the Snuff Outs and all the Gushes and all that stuff. So I just feel like Adnos is kind of like awkward because then you have to cut some of those cards. But that's why the deck is good. It has free interaction.
And I'm never gonna cut those. I'm never gonna cut those cards.
Correct. Gush is a staple in this deck. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about the Kingpin Necropotence.
Let's go.
So is this just the best card in this, like, best combo, this and Doomsday?
This is the best card. This is the best card in the deck.
Yeah.
Necropotence is the best card in this deck. So Necropotence, with Glarb out, you can activate Necropotence for 1, then look at the next card with Glarb's ability because it says any time. Yeah. So you can see if you want to keep going. Once you can see if the next card's born upon a wind. You can see if the next card's free mana. It just gives you the ability of not having the unknown information of what you just necropotenced into, which I'm a huge fan of.
And you're easily like, I'll do necro. Oh,
yeah, I don't need to say I'm going to necro for 30. I'm going to say I'm going to necro for 1. Yeah, I'm going to necro for 1. I'm going to necro for 1. And in tournament play, you kind of have to say that as many times as you're necroing.
Right. You can't go.
They can't just 30. Rush you. They're not gonna rush you. It's tournament play.
Yeah, but
casual play, and my buddies would be like, "All right, come on, realistically, just keep going and tell us when you're gonna stop." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, but you don't know when you're gonna stop. What I like in this deck is you could easily just be like, a Necro for 1, Necro for 1, Necro for 1. Ooh, cool, Sylvan Library.
Yeah, exactly. There's a Sylvan Library there. That sucks. I'm gonna tap 2. Yeah. Like, it's a dead card. You don't want it.
Or One Ring. Let me cast One Ring real quick. Necro.
Exactly. No one's doing that after a Necrophones. Yeah, no one's doing that. I'm looking for a win or make so much value where I just can't.
Also, Bowl of Citadel Necro's a win.
Oh, of course. But it's also very clunky and might not be the best.
No, I agree. I'm saying if you resolve a Culling Ritual for 18 black mana.
You're
like, there's no way I lose if I get one
Have
of these.
Have I Culling Ritualed for 18 mana before? Hell yes. Have I won the game? Yes. Have I lost more than I've won? Yes.
Yeah, 100%. It happens. So Necro is good, and also I like synergistic cards with cards that are the best. Like Floodcaller is really good with Glarb. Necro Floodcaller is a win. Like if I have mana and I have these out, like game's over.
100%.
Yeah,
so 100%.
We can agree on that. And then I just want to look over the lands. We talked about the Lazy Top. It's all traditional stuff. You are Talon Gates, I think it goes in every deck. And
I think Talon Gates is a great protection piece.
Shifting Woodlands, I feel like it was hot out of the gate, but I haven't heard much of it lately.
So, the best card in the deck is Necrophones. Yep. Second best card in the deck is Shifting Woodlands. Okay. In my opinion, in my list. This card is so versatile, and it activates the Delirium effect very easily. Very easily. Sometimes, obviously, you're like, damn, I need one land in the graveyard and I don't have a fetch land. What do I do? Or so it gets to that situation sometimes. Yeah, but for Shifting Woodlands, if you have that out and your Necropotence or your Bolas's Citadel gets countered, you're like, okay, cool. I'll make my Shifting Woodlands a Bolas's Citadel. I'll win the game.
A Necro or...
basically any problem piece. Except things, obviously, that have ETBs because it doesn't trigger ETBs because it becomes a copy of. So you can't do it with Thassa's Oracle. You sadly can't do it with Seedborn Muse because you can't respond to their untap.
Right. Yeah, there's no ETBs. You're right. But like Bull said, well, it's like really good in green breach decks, right? It's your another breach.
It's also, you can just keep drawing cards with the One Ring as well.
Yeah.
I know it's only one card, but
I've Shifting Woodlands for a Ristic Study like on my combo turn. It's drawn me 4 cards.
Oh, of course, dude.
So
like both of us were saying before, it's a draw card meta. It's literally what it is. It's a Ristic Study meta.
Yeah, I want to go through your considering. Why aren't you Tyvar? I think Tyvar is fucking
insane. That is actually going to be my next slot in.
Okay.
That's why it's at the very top. It is going to be my next slot in piece that I will be play testing within the next 2 weeks. I play test 3 cards every 2 weeks. So I just go through a rotation.
I like that.
Because I work a lot, so I don't really have enough time to play Magic as I'd like to be. I am buying a new PC, so I will be able to play Spellcable more.
You hop on my Discord, bro. I want to play.
Oh, I'm waiting for that invite. We're definitely jamming some games
now. For sure. But yeah, I think other than that, like, I love your list. I love Tyvar. But other than that, like, I don't know if I would be on Bull Citadel, but like you said, it wins you games. It's
so it's from the creatures, it's basically the Shieldred and the Endurance as well as the Seedborn Muse, and then it's going to be Bolas's Citadel. Just the cards that haven't really been doing good for me lately, I'm going to be sifting out.
Yeah, and I feel like with what do you think? So I'll get on that. So what do you think about, like, for me, I think Glarb the next year, like, what does the next year for Glarb look? Does it look like, I think it's going to be fine. Like you said, you keep testing. I think it's just going to get better and better.
I think it's just going to get better, especially with the new releases. Will it be affected by the bans and unbannings? Let's put it this way. If Fast Bond and Prophet of Crewfix gets unbanned, I'm cutting Seedborn Muse and I'm never looking at that card again.
Yeah. Well, Fast Bond and Bull Citadel.
Yeah, you just win.
Yeah.
But giving Prophet of Crewfix it also has your creatures have flash, so it's just kind of like.
Yeah, but that's all speculation. Who knows?
Oh yeah,
What
that's just me. That's just
they
me
ban
like
Glarb?
assuming.
Yeah, yeah. They're gonna ban Glarb.
The banning of other cards, I don't think anything that's really going to affect it. The unbanning of Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus didn't really affect it. I'm going to throw Mana Crypt into the deck because I'm a greedy player. I don't care about having a dead Mox Opal. I'm just gonna want to throw it in just because.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna unban the recent ones, but they're definitely talking about the fringier cards like Coalition Victory. They're probably gonna revisit.
I even seen it as far as the green Primeval Titan. I've even seen people thinking about that getting unbanned in like Rofellos. If Primeval Titan gets banned, I think Glarb wants it immediately because it does find Labs Tap and it does find Cavern of Souls, Gaia's Cradle.
I think every green deck wants Prime Time.
Yeah, I would forget. Yeah, probably.
Kennen?
Yeah, if Kennen gets access to that and Prophet of Crufix, I think it becomes the best deck in the meta. Just saying. And I hope God it doesn't. I hate Kennen with a burning passion.
I don't hate Kennen. I hate bad players that think they're good with Kennen because
the problem
hard
is
to play.
The store I was talking about before, King's Court, Steve Baker, is I would have to go as far as saying as he might be the best Kennen player in New England, let alone US, because he just wins. Most of my losses are to him.
Really? Was that the place that hosted Royal Rumble?
That is the Royal Rumble. Yep, Steve Baker hosted the Royal Rumble, and that is the tournament that I did Cripe in.
It's funny because what's his name? Freedom Waffle won that tournament.
Freedom Waffle did win, and it was funny because I know Freedom Waffle through Discord, but I've never seen what he looks like. And I had a conversation with him, and I didn't realize who he was.
He's so cool.
It was hilarious. But I met so many cool people. Yeah. So we had at the AK, if you don't mind if we vert off a little bit.
Yeah, we're pretty much done now. Yeah.
We had RK Post. Mm-hmm. As one of the artists there, and we had MTG Sick Deals, which is a Facebook group that sells crazy amount of cards for great prices. So basically the vendors there were the best vendors I've ever seen, as well as they had the artist for Abdel Adrian, so I got a nice little artist proof from him.
Oh, that's freaking cool.
Yeah, it was sick. And I think Abdel Adrian is just such a sick card in general.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So, wrapping it up, was there anything else you wanted to add to Glarb? Any crazy niche thing people need to know?
I just wanted to let you guys know that on my Discord, I don't know if I've posted it yet. I mean, on my deck list, there is the Discord for Glarb. Mm-hmm. My name is Sully. If you guys have any questions regarding anything regarding CDH, Glarb, you guys could even ask me what I ate for dinner. Feel free to hit me up. I am an open book. I love friends, love people. I'm a big talker, obviously. So if you guys need any help with anything regarding CDH or just need someone to talk to, feel free to hit me up. I'm an open book.
Yeah, I noticed you're very active in the Discord.
Yeah, I just love giving information, and I love making it. When I first started Commander in general or Magic in general, there were so many people that just did that for me, and I want to become one of those people that just gives it back. I have to give it back. I have to.
Yeah, my biggest thing is brewing and getting people into this game.
I just want to see someone that's passionate and build stuff that they haven't even. I love casual, don't get me wrong, and I love seeing the wonky 5-color Kenrith energy builds. Like, it's awesome. Yeah. It is awesome to see, and I just want to spread the information that yes, Magic's nerdy and we're all a little bit weird in our own ways, but this game is sick and it makes people happy, and there's a reason for that.
Dude, I couldn't agree with you more. On that note, that's all we got for today. Thanks a lot, Sully. You're the fucking man.
Thank you.
Back on here. Glarb
I appreciate the invite. Glarb, his moistness for president. Don't get it twisted.
Whoa, we're not going that far. On Glarb, but all right, guys,
baby.
Smack the sub button, smack the like button. I will put all his links down below. Like you said, his Discord's awesome. His Mox Field's cool. Hit him up, ask him, get in the Discord. Let's get Glarb top 5 deck instead of top 10. But
no, let's go.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Peace,
guys.